Chefs of the Future, Season 2. Tune in.
Chefs of the Future, COF Nation, first show of 2022. So I welcome all of y'all, and if y'all made it to the show, thank y'all for y'all support, especially if you've been a supporter from the first episode, the podcast days, the first episode on YouTube. Shout out to y'all. And if you haven't already, make sure you go onto the IG page and shoot me a size. Check out the shirts we got available and the sweaters. We have cardigans coming, hats, all of that good stuff. So make sure you check that out and subscribe, comment, like us, and all that good stuff. All right, so as you can see by the title, we do have something exciting that I've been dying to talk to y'all today about, and it's about this. So Chefs of the Future, if you follow the show at all, throughout any amount of time, you know I'm not afraid to talk about topics that may be controversial. But today, I'm here to talk about something that I think underlining is a positive thing, but moving forward, we need to really talk about the matter at hand. And it's this. Now, I grew up in not the best neighborhood and people living in less than best economical stance. So when it comes to a chance to save money, we always, my family, myself, and the people in my neighborhood always leaped at the opportunity to. So, and it's not a new concept of coming out with discount coupons and advertising that in newspapers and circles that may go to the neighborhoods. But it's also important to understand the logistics behind it, the thought process behind it, and if it's really all what it's cracking out to be on the consumer's end. So we're all familiar with the sales paper, and I'm gonna make this the thumbnail. But when it comes to understanding how did the items get there, why these particular items, and does this actually equate to saving money for me personally, is what we come here to talk about real quick. So as we look through the paper, we see the items that's always there, whether it be like the bologna, the cheese, the syrup, pancake, and we covered the syrup and the pancakes and all that stuff. All that you'll always find on the discount page. Now, when shopping for this, you get caught up with the flashy name brand titles and brands that you're familiar with. You don't question if it's something that you necessarily need in abundance at that moment. So the average household has a budget. The average household has a budget, let's say for the sake of this argument, of $60 that's towards food alone per week of a family for two people. Now, when it comes to shopping on the discount page, it's easy to create a list. I'm guilty of it. Plenty of families are guilty of it, where they create the list and they formulate what they're getting from the supermarket based on what's on sale from the sales list, the circles list. Now, it may seem like an economical way of saving money and shopping and getting things on sale, and also getting things you need for the house that you're familiar with, and also saving a little money in the process. But I give you this as a rebuttal for that. Now, with that $60 budget, if you're shopping for things and you're buying, let's say, Clorox or something that's on sale, and it's 2 for $10, that's $10 out of your grocery budget that is going to something that you could use in the future, but you may not necessarily need right there in the present. Do you need 2 bottles of Clorox? Or do you need 3 containers of butter, even though it's on sale? But that's a little bit of your percentage of your budget being taken out at the immediate, which could have went to something that you actually need. So what does that create? Now you go home, you bought a whole lot of products that was on sale, but you don't got the necessities to execute a recipe to its full, to its entirety. So now that forces you to go back to the store, which plays into the favor of the supermarket, of the establishment that you shopped at. So they got you to go to the supermarket twice. They got you to buy something that you didn't necessarily need, and they got to get rid of inventory that they were trying to get rid of. So let's back this train up and let's approach this from the perspective of the establishment first. So when we're talking about the establishment, when they're thinking about putting items on their weekly circuit, they have obligations with their distributors and their purveyors, where they get their product from. And they have contracts that span years, sometimes tens of years. So they're very much so locked in contracts and sometimes locked in items that they get sent on kickback or as an opportunity buy. They get subbed an item, so they have to run with that. Now, they're locked into that with the establishment, with the purveyor, so they add that to the on-sale list on their circuit the following week to liquidize that item and get it out of their inventory from taking up space and move on to the next product. Now, there are other things like the mayonnaise, the ketchup, the butter, the Pop-Tarts that you will always find on the circuit because that's something that's always in high demand. So they have to keep a constant, fresh supply of that particular products that they know will always sell in the supermarkets. But sometimes that algorithm works all too well, and they have a backlog of product, and that also incentivizes them to put it on the circuit, and that's why it ends up on here. Now, when taking into people's budget into mind when creating the circuit is not something that the establishment does, do you really save money when shopping on the circuit and the circlets alone? And yeah, sure, pennies, but again, how much is it worth actually when you blow through your budget and you still don't get the essentials? So let's take another example. You have a family of 4 with a food budget of $500 per month. That's for groceries, and they shop at Costco's. Now, Costco's is big, huge, bulky items, and they go and they buy the 60-pack box of soap, and then they get the 3-pack family box of cereal and all of this bulky stuff that half of the pack stays in the closet for 6 months and usually gets, damaged from whatever reason. Now, they only use half of it, but yet spend more money because they got a bigger package. Now, in the immediate, at the point of purchase, it makes sense because you're getting the big, you're getting the bulky item. It's more of it. So you're justified. You feel good. You're like, ding, yeah, I could justify that to myself for purchasing that item. So you go ahead, you purchase that. Now that's, let's say, $17 out of your budget for your toiletries and groceries for that family. And it just slowly chips away. And when you go on your normal day and you're like, hey, of living and you're roaming around the house, you don't want to go out, you don't have what you need to execute that dinner or that night, in the house with your family, what have you, because you don't have the essentials. Why? Because you wanted to save some money and shop either bulk-wise, go into the bulk stores like BJ's or Costco's, or shop on the circuits and go to the supermarkets with a list and a circling with the circle list. We're all guilty of it, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not here to bash, the sales papers or anything like that. But I just wanted to start the conversation of looking deeper into the sales papers and what does it actually mean for your family and you as a consumer moving forward, and start to astutely view your establishments for what they're trying to do. But that's all. That's my opinion on it. Let me know your thoughts about all of that. And so comment below. Let me know your thoughts. And I'm out of here. Yeah.